Caitlyn Clark and the Indiana Fever. Who would have thought a rookie could make such an impact, huh? Just imagine, over 20,700 people packed the arena to see Clark's last regular season game. That's history in the making, folks. But the burning question is, are Clark and the Fever ready to bring that energy to the playoffs? Get ready, because we're diving deep into this story. From the ups and downs of the regular season to the epic showdown coming up against the Connecticut Sun, we're going to break it all down. And look, there's rivalry, strategy, competitiveness. So hit that subscribe button because we've got everything we love about basketball. Caitlyn Clark's last regular season game was against the Washington Mystics, and boy, was it a game. But here's the kicker. Clark only played 19 minutes. Yeah, you heard that right. Some might think, come on, it was the last game. Why not let her play more? Well, that's where Christy Side's genius comes in. She made a masterful move here, saving Clark and keeping her energy for something much bigger, the playoffs. In just 19 minutes, Clark managed to score 8 points, dish out 8 assists, and grab 5 rebounds. Not bad for less than half a game, huh? This shows how efficient she can be even with limited time. But the most important thing here isn't the numbers. It's the message this decision sends. This strategy shows that the Fever is thinking long-term about the big battle ahead. It shows a mature, strategic team ready for the playoff challenges. And let's face it, after a whole season of carrying the team, a little rest does good. Clark had the chance to recharge her batteries, observe the game from a different perspective, and mentally prepare for what's coming. Now, let's talk about evolution, shall we? Because the Indiana Fever put on a show in this department throughout the season. It's almost like we're seeing two different teams, the one from the start of the season and the one entering the playoffs now. Remember how the Fever started? It was rough. They had a 1-6 record in the first 7 games. A lot of people were already writing the team off, thinking it would be another year of disappointments. But that's when the magic happened, my friends. What we saw in the last few weeks was a completely transformed team. The players are more confident, more in sync, playing basketball that's a joy to watch. It's like all the puzzle pieces finally fit together. And it's not just my impression. You can see this change on the court. The ball flows better. The players understand each other with just a glance. The defense is more cohesive. It's the kind of chemistry you can't force, you know? It has to happen naturally, and it seems like it finally happened for the Fever. Of course, Caitlyn Clark played a crucial role in this. She not only elevated her own game throughout the season, but made everyone around her play better too. It's the kind of impact that goes beyond statistics. But it's not just Clark. Kelsey Mitchell is playing out of her mind. Aaliyah Boston is dominating under the basket, and the players coming off the bench are making a difference too. And since I know a lot of people are anxious, it's time to talk about the playoff matchup between the Indiana Fever and the Connecticut Sun. And look, brace yourselves because this series promises to be a nail-biter. First, let's talk about the matchup. The 6th-seeded Fever will face the Sun, who finished 3rd. It might seem like a big difference in the standings, but don't be fooled. This Fever team now isn't the same one that started the season. The Connecticut Sun is a tough team, experienced in playoffs. They have players like Alyssa Thomas and, of course, Dejanai Carrington. But you know what's interesting? The Fever doesn't seem intimidated at all. In my opinion, folks, the Fever has a great chance of getting past the Sun and advancing. Why? Well, we've got 2 words for you, Clark and Mitchell. These two are playing out of this world basketball, and it seems like the Sun doesn't have an answer for them. Caitlyn Clark, even as a rookie, plays like she's got years of experience in the league. Her court vision, ability to make impossible passes, and of course, that deadly 3-point shot are weapons the Sun will have to bend over backward to contain. And we can't forget about Kelsey Mitchell. What a season she's had. Mitchell is playing the best basketball of her career, and it looks like she's hungry for the playoffs. Her combination with Clark in the backcourt is enough to scare any defense in the league. But what makes this series even more exciting is the rivalry factor. Remember the beginning of the season when Dejounte Carrington taunted Clark? Well, now they're going to meet in the playoffs. It's the kind of narrative we love in sports, isn't it? Let's go back in time a bit. At the start of the season, Carrington taunted Clark during a game, making gestures and trying to get under her skin. At the time, a lot of people criticized Carrington's attitude, saying it was unsportsmanlike. Others saw it as part of the game, that provocation that's part of the show. But now, my friends, the context is different. It's not just another regular season game. It's the playoffs. It's when the stars shine brightest, when each possession can define a series. And in the middle of all this, we have Clark and Carrington face to face again. What makes this rivalry so interesting is the contrast between the two. On one side, we have Clark, the sensational rookie, breaking records and drawing crowds. On the other, Carrington, an experienced player known for her aggressive defense and never back down attitude. The question that remains is, how will this rivalry develop in a playoff series? Will we see more taunting from Carrington? How will Clark react under this additional pressure? One thing's for sure, all eyes will be on this duel. Every time Clark has the ball and Carrington is guarding her, the tension will rise. It's going to be the kind of matchup that makes us hold our breath. But you know what's coolest? This rivalry has the potential to elevate both of their games. Clark can use this as extra motivation to show why she's considered the new face of the league. Carrington, in turn, can prove that experience and determination still count for a lot in the playoffs. At the end of the day, this rivalry is great for women's basketball. It generates interest, creates narratives, makes people want to watch. It's the kind of thing that turns a good playoff series into an unforgettable one. But folks, let's talk about an incredible story that's happening in this Fever postseason. It's the playoff debut of none other than Kelsey Mitchell. Yeah, believe it or not, this is the first time Mitchell will play in a WNBA playoff series, and it's not for lack of talent. You know, Mitchell has been one of the Fever's best players for years, but the team just couldn't get there. But now, finally, it's her time to shine on the league's biggest stage. And let's be honest, right? Mitchell totally deserves this moment. She's been the heart and soul of this Fever team for so long, always giving her all, even when things weren't going well. Now, she finally has the chance to show the world what she can do when the stakes are high. But the most impressive thing, it's seeing how Mitchell is leading this young team. She's not just thinking about her own game, but she's helping the rookies, like Caitlyn Clark, prepare mentally for what's ahead. Now let's talk about someone who doesn't always make the headlines, but who has been crucial to the Fever's success. Coach Christy Sides. Sides has done one heck of a job this season, and her decision to rest Caitlyn Clark in the last regular season game is just the tip of the iceberg. Let's take a closer look at the strategy of this coach who's taken the Fever to the playoffs for the first time in years. First, let's talk about talent management. Sides had the difficult task of integrating a sensational rookie like Clark into a team that already had its established stars, like Kelsey Mitchell. And you know what? She made it look easy. The way she managed to balance minutes and roles on the court was impressive. But that's not all. Sides also showed an incredible ability to adapt the team's strategy as the season progressed. Remember how the Fever started slow? Well, Sides didn't panic. She kept believing in the process, making adjustments here and there until the team started to click. Another strong point of Sides is how she handles pressure. In a league where every game is crucial, she managed to keep the team focused and confident, even in the toughest moments. This is crucial for the playoffs, where the pressure is even greater. And we can't forget about player development. Under Side's command, it wasn't just Clark who evolved. Players like Aaliyah Boston also made huge leaps in quality. This shows that Sides isn't just thinking about now, but building a solid future for the Fever. And for a solid future, players have to focus on something that makes all the difference in high-level sports: competitiveness. And when it comes to that, Caitlyn Clark is on another level. Coach Christy Sides said something very interesting recently. She said that Clark is extremely competitive, and that's what makes her special. And you know what? She's absolutely right. Let's think for a moment about what it means to be competitive at this level. It's not just wanting to win, it's having that inner fire, that unshakable determination to be the best at everything you do. And Clark has that in spades. Since arriving in the WNBA, Clark has shown she didn't come to play around. She faced experienced veterans without fear, broke records like it was routine, and most importantly, elevated the level of the entire Fever team. That's competitiveness in its purest form. But the most impressive thing is how Clark uses this competitiveness positively. She doesn't just want to be the best, she wants her team to be the best. And now, with the playoffs coming, Clark's competitiveness could be the difference maker for the Fever. In decisive moments, when the pressure is at its maximum, having someone with this warrior spirit can make all the difference. I want to know what you think. Does the Fever have a chance against the Sun? Who's going to shine more, Caitlyn Clark or Dejanai Carrington? Will Kelsey Mitchell dominate in her playoff debut? Leave your predictions in the comments. Let's turn this comment section into a real debate of WNBA experts. And look, if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to give it a like. It really helps the channel grow and motivates us to bring you even more quality content about women's basketball. Now, if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, what are you waiting for? Click that subscribe button right now. That way, you won't miss any updates about the playoffs. Remember, the regular season is over, but the real battle is just beginning. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.